Far, one of the greatest skills that you'll ever learn in your life to become successful is the ability to manage time. Those who are successful understand and appreciate that time is a precious commodity and they need to manage it efficiently. Perhaps you're watching this video and you feel like you're always under pressure. You never achieve those goals and tasks that you set yourself to achieve. Or perhaps you just feel like something has to give. There's not enough hours in a day. If you're feeling like that, you're in the right place and hopefully we can assist you. Molweni, hi, my name is Ukhandi Mshunqane, Chartered Accountant and Learning Strategist. If you're joining us for the first time today, on this channel we're dedicated to helping you becoming more efficient as a learner, whether that could be in an academic space, at work, or in any environment that you find yourself in. In today's video, we'll be talking specifically about the art of managing time. How does one manage time in order to become more efficient? Now, we'll be covering 5 important elements that are key if you want to be able to manage time more efficiently. The first one we'll cover is time blocking and scheduling. Now, time blocking refers to the art of being able to block out time for specific tasks that you want to complete. Time scheduling is the art of creating a detailed plan of what you want to do for that specific task within that specific block. Now, when you combine time blocking and time scheduling, it becomes an effective management of time tool that can help you be able to manage that time you preciously want to start doing. Now, a common tool and that is used in order to incorporate both time blocking and time scheduling is what we call a timetable. As you can see in the screen, we've got a typical timetable of a student that's listed from Monday to Sunday. Also see that the time is listed from 8 to 11 in the evening. What's important here is that the person does something correct by listing each and every activity that they're involved in. This is the most important element. The activities and tasks that you list on your timetable will be unique to what you do on a day-to-day basis. Because this timetable is of the student, the key common tasks that I listed here are attending classes, post-reading, attending tutorials, and post-reading within the specific tutorial. Now, they also include any extracurricular activities that are there and also include lunch, supper, because ultimately they're humans at the end of the day. They need to eat. Always remember that each and every activity must be included for your timetable to be effective. Now, it's one thing to be able to list each and every activity and block out time and schedule, but it's another to do so strategically. And that's why we advocate to have a strategic or principle based approach in being able to slot in those tasks within your timetable. This is where the 24-hour rule comes in. Particularly if you're a student, what we advocate for is that you need to put in tasks in such a way that they complement each other and so that you can be more efficient. Now, let's take an example of a student. Key to this is being able to learn as quickly as possible so that you can manage your time. So there is a natural advantage to attending class and post reading that information when it's still fresh because it takes you less time. You can leverage easier that information compared to if you wait a week or two before post reading. Now, if we go back to the timetable, notice how this student is smart in that they are looking for gaps within their time when they can slot in post reading immediately after learning that information for the first time in the class. What this does is that it allows them to do a matching where they're able to post read for the exact same time that they spent in that class. Ideally, if the student applies it consistently, by the end of the week, they should have covered each and every single task that is set aside from an academic aspect. This can be applied as well in the workspace where you want to perform the tasks that you learned for the first time and apply them immediately to ensure that you're able to benefit from that new knowledge that you've obtained. Now, other key tools that you need to bear in mind when you're performing time scheduling and time blocking is that always be realistic. It's no good placing tasks and activities in such a way that you can't accomplish them. Secondly, factor in rest time. Rest time is key to prevent yourself from being burned out. So, what I used to do as a student, I used to have 2 half days incorporated within my timetable so that to ensure that I'm always fresh. Now, it's one thing to master now time blocking and time scheduling, an important foundation to be able to manage your time. It's another now to have that self discipline to be able to follow through on those activities. Because ultimately, we need to then now start overcoming procrastination. Now, perhaps you look at this and then you ask yourself, but I get easily distracted, or I find myself delaying tasks unnecessarily when I'm supposed to be performing that task. This is what we call procrastination. Now, you need to be able to efficiently address and overcome procrastination if you want to become efficient in managing your time. Now, the key technique that I used to use that can help you overcome procrastination is the Pomodoro Technique. The Pomodoro Technique was introduced and founded by Francesco Cirillo. What this principle advocates for is that one has to block out time for each specific task, but split that task into smaller work intervals known as Pomodoros in order to encourage efficiency. Now, a Pomodoro is typically 25 minutes. It doesn't have to be necessarily that for you because everyone can concentrate for different time periods. But if you're not sure or you want the standard scientifically proven approach, apply the 25 minutes. So, what I used to do when I was a student, for example, is that I would block out 2 hours specifically to complete a task within a subject. This could be post reading a specific lecture topic that was introduced for the first time. Now, within that 25 or within that 2 hour block, that I've blocked out within my timetable, I'll then break it down into smaller chunks of 25 minutes or what we call Pomodoros. So the first Pomodoro would be 25 minutes. For that 25 minutes, I would switch off my phone, no distractions, and I would work in an intense manner with the stopwatch. Once the 25 minutes is lapsed, I take a 5 minute break where I'm able to relax, take a deep breath, go out, refresh, and then come back again. And I keep on rinsing and repeating. I go into the second Pomodoro, 25 minutes, then take a 5 minute break. By the time that task that I've blocked has completed in the 2 hour period, I've done 4 Pomodoros in an intense manner and I've had 4 5 minute breaks. That is more manageable because now I'm more efficient. I'm making sure that each session has specific objectives. I work in an intense manner. I'm efficient so that I can get the most out of that specific time period. Right. Now, that's one technique that you can use in order to be able to overcome procrastination. But let's face it, I can give you that technique, but if you're not self disciplined enough to be able to follow through on tasks, everything I tell you today will be futile. And that's why the second element to be able to overcome procrastination is you need to encourage yourself to be more self disciplined. Now, self discipline is key because this is what's going to help you in order to drive the task and complete it when you set yourself to do it. Now, there are various things that you can do in order to enhance your ability to be self disciplined. The one is to exercise and implement activities that encourage the development of willpower. At the core of self discipline is having the willpower to be able to soldier on whether or not you feel distracted or tired or lazy. Now, there are activities that encourage willpower, such as exercising and gymming or meditation. For example, when you gym and you lift up weights, you might find that it becomes difficult for you to continue, and you have to get that extra source of energy to push yourself to complete that task. It's that ability to go into your reserve tank to find that extra energy to be able to complete the task that you also need in the academic space or in the workspace. So, developing and cultivating that willpower from these exercises and activities can then be leveraged and put into your other work commitments in order to develop self discipline. Another key tool that you can use is to have accountability partners. Now, what accountability partners are people that hold you accountable for the tasks that you set yourself to complete. Now, partners could be friends, could be family, it could be individuals that study with you, study groups, or it could be colleagues at work. Ultimately, what a study partner or what an accountability partner tries to achieve is to hold you accountable so that you complete the task you set yourself out to. Because let's face it, sometimes you can get distracted, you can get lazy, but when you have a group of people or a person that can remind you to complete that task and encourage you to do so, you're more likely to complete it as opposed to being isolated and having to cultivate that discipline all on your own. Now, once you've overcome procrastination, the third element is to be able to set your priorities. Now, setting your priorities is one of the important things that you will ever learn in terms of time management. This skill is relevant whether you're a student, it's relevant whether you're at work, in business, or in any sphere of your life. Setting your priorities is key because ultimately you can get thousands and thousands of tasks, but it's the ability to be able to understand which task to do and when that will set you apart from everyone else. Now, a key technique and tool that I use and that many people use that are good at managing time is the Eisenhower matrix. What the Eisenhower matrix tries to do, it balances this concept of importance and urgency as a tool to be able to set your priorities in terms of which tasks you want to do first. Now, at the core of this is understanding that you want to start with tasks that are both important and urgent, and you want to end or focus less on tasks that are neither important and neither urgent. Now, your ability to be able to categorize tasks as either important and urgent then drives when you want to complete that specific task. For example, in the student setting, you might have two competing classes. So one could be subject A and the other could be subject B. Now, you're not sure whether I should start with subject A or subject B first. Now, ultimately, because you are a student, it's likely that both of these subjects are important. So that's the first thing. You want to do these subjects before anything else, such as social commitments, going to extracurricular activities, because these are the important elements of why you are here as a student. Now, which one is more urgent will then determine whether you start with the other. Now, this could be driven by the fact that the class for subject A is tomorrow morning, and ultimately you want to make sure that before you go to the next class, you've at least studied that information in the previous class so you don't get left behind. As opposed to subject B, which only has a class the following week. So you probably want to start with subject A first. And that's what I'm talking about, prioritizing in order to be able to set yourself the task that you can manage as and when possible. Now, after you've mastered the ability to be able to set your priorities, the next step is to manage your stress levels. Let's face it, if you're not in the right mental space to be able to deal with issues, you're not cultivating healthy relationships with people, you're not going to be able to be efficient in managing your time. That's why it's important to always manage your stress. Now, there are different aspects that you can do in order to reduce your stress and manage it. The first of which is talk to someone. Talk to a counselor, talk to a professional, talk to your friends and family about what's bothering you. Don't bottle things up because ultimately, when you feel stressed and you're not mentally okay, you're not going to be efficient. Make sure you're always resting. Don't get burnt out. Burnt out people don't tend to work efficiently and you can have strain on relationships and everything you do. So make sure that you get adequate amounts of rest. Exercise, meditation can also be tools that you can use in order to manage your stress levels. Also, don't overcommit. Overcommitting to activities that you can't do are likely going to leave you stressed. Keep it simple as much as possible in your life. Don't overcommit to activities or tasks that you know you can't accomplish. Make sure that you always keep your health, especially your mental health, at the priority so that you can be able to efficiently manage your time. Lastly, and certainly not least, is that you must avoid time wasters. Now, there are common time wasters, which are essentially activities and behaviors that don't contribute to your long term growth as an individual. Avoid common time wasters so that you can be able to manage your time more efficiently. Common time wasters include social media, excessive use and engagement of social media platforms can distract you from the overall goals and task that you want to achieve. So you want to actually reduce your engagement on social media. Online tools and entertainment platforms can also be a distraction. Binge watching shows on sites, online gaming, make sure that you keep that to a minimum. Multitasking never works. It's scientifically proven that it doesn't work. So don't try it, because ultimately you'll end up achieving nothing. Don't get involved in meetings that don't have purpose, because this could be elongated and they could waste a significant time that you don't have. Now, hopefully, now you're in a better position to understand some of the key strategies that you can implement today already in order to manage time. And let's chat in the comment section. Let's see what tools you want to start implementing so that you can ultimately achieve the goals you set yourself out to and manage your time. Until we meet again, I believe in you, and do the best you can so that you can be the best version of yourself. Thank you.